Caroline Brown to talk about this forecast. How are we looking outside?
I mean, we're looking a lot like yesterday.
Yeah.
We started off muggy, foggy this afternoon, warm in the 80s. I want to show you a place that hasn't changed, though.
Okay.
That's down on the island because we have just been dealing with a blanket of dense sea fog. This is a live look down on the island, specifically Seawall Boulevard. Typically, we could see Pleasure Pier in the distance. No such luck today. That dense fog has rolled in. That's going to be dominating as we go through the afternoon as well. In fact, visibility across the board, it's only the island that's dealing with reduced visibility. Coastal areas can expect to see the most fog this week. As for us further inland, it'll roll in the evening and then stick around for a few hours after sunrise. A live look from our Arc Generators camera over the Southwest Freeway showing a mix of sunshine and cloud cover. Temperature-wise, we are warming up really fast. Already 79 here in Houston, 81 up in Conroe, 80 in College Station. So another warm, humid day outside. We've got dew points in the mid 60s. That's why it is sticky out there. We're not seeing any crisp mornings, and into the afternoon, temperatures should be able to warm up into the lower and mid 80s. That means today, once again, we are challenging the possibility of a record high temperature until we go into the overnight period. Once again, mild, muggy, and foggy tomorrow morning, only cooling down into the upper 60s, and then we do it all over again, foggy to temperatures in the 80s. Now, this Groundhog Day of a forecast is going to change once we get to the weekend. Lisa, I'm tracking a strong cold front, but that full forecast coming up.
Hey, Caroline, we'll check back. Thank you. And straight away here out of the break and talk about this weather because the mugginess is in full effect.
I mean, it is back. For everyone who complained that it was too cold,
Right.
we don't like the snow, well,
Yeah.
aside from our Arc Generators camera, you can see we've got mostly cloudy skies out there. It is on the warm and humid side, but not too different from what we saw yesterday. Temperatures climbing, currently upper 70s. Part of the reason why we're warming so efficiently, as you can see that westerly component of the wind, whenever winds are coming from the west, that's a dry, hot air, and that's going to help our temperatures increase quite a bit. You'll also notice our days getting a little bit longer. Sunset now at 6:02 p.m. and temperatures today pretty much for everybody climbing into the lower 80s. Right now we're sitting in the mid to upper 70s. Down on the island, 71 degrees. They're still dealing with some pretty thick sea fog. That's going to be in place really for the entire upcoming week. As for our humidity, well, it is humid out there. Dew points in the 60s, meaning it's not going to be the most pleasant. And what's not helping is our allergy report today, now showing mold spores in the high category, tree pollen moderate, still dealing with that cedar tree and the elm tree that's just started to pop in. As for your yard work forecast this afternoon, it's going to be a humid one, so make sure you stay plenty hydrated. Temperatures reaching the lower 80s today, and this is what we can expect over the next several days. In fact, temperatures really going to be challenging those records both Wednesday and Thursday. Forecast highs 82, record 82, 83. Now every single day is going to feel a lot like the last. Not only will we have warm, humid afternoons, but we're going to start off foggy and pretty muggy. Visibility start to decrease further inland once we get past 10 p.m. this evening. That'll impact all of southeast Texas through the morning commute, so plan on a bit of extra time. Once sun comes up for about 2 hours, we'll start to see things start to get better. As for Wednesday, rinse and repeat. We'll continue to see coastal areas with that dense fog. That will be moving inland, staying with us through Thursday morning up until about 2 hours after sunrise. Now those daytime high temperatures going to be reaching the mid 80s by Saturday. Then look at this, Sunday, a cold front's going to pass through. That's going to allow more seasonal weather. In fact, most of the United States is going to see cooler than normal temperatures. So these 80s are not here to stay. That extended forecast keeping a Groundhog Day every day, foggy start, warm afternoon. Our cold front finally passes through on Sunday. Lisa, that's going to bring a much more seasonal upcoming week.
Yeah, we will be keeping our eye on that extended 10-day forecast. Caroline, thank you. we want to talk to Caroline Brown right now about this forecast and people heading out maybe to the zoo. Not a bad day to be out there, right?
And not a bad day. Just stay hydrated and look at the weather before you get dressed, because I wore jeans on Sunday and I regretted it. We hit 79.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was going to be that warm, or at least when I was walking out the door, I didn't really think about it.
It's February.
Jeans have been fine for the last few months, and I should admit. And you can see a few of them actually taking a dip in the water, and I think that sounds really refreshing right now. We've got a mix of sunshine and clouds out there. Temperature-wise, we are certainly on the warm side. Upper 70s and the lower 80s. Right now out in Katy, 81 degrees, 78 in Livingston. You'll notice down on the island, 71 degrees in Galveston. This is where we have the dense sea fog, and quite frankly, it's where we're going to see the dense sea fog every single day, even as we head into the weekend. How does it feel? It feels humid, it feels muggy, it feels warm out there. So please do listen to your body, take some breaks. I know it's February, but still, temperatures are going to be making it into the lower and mid 80s. This is not normal for this time of year. In fact, today we're going to be challenging record high temperatures, and we're going to be saying the same thing every single day for the next several days. Tomorrow, our record high is 83 from 1957. We've got a forecast high of 82. Thursday, the record is 82, forecast of 82. So every single day likely going to be at or breaking records. And every single morning, it's going to be muggy and foggy. In fact, take a look at our forecast visibility. That fog pushing further inland by 10 p.m. this evening. That will become more widespread through the overnight hours, which means plan on a bit of extra time for that morning commute. Flip on those low beams. You're only going to need them until about 2 hours after sunrise. This is when visibility will start to return, and that's what you can expect every single day. The sea fog is going to stay persistent for our coastal communities. Through the evening, it'll push inland. It'll stay pretty widespread through the overnight hours into the morning commute, and then with the sunshine, it'll quickly resolve itself. Now, this is going to be the case at least through Saturday. It's not until Sunday that we're forecasting really any sort of decent change. We're talking a subtle warm up, but starting on Sunday, a cold front's going to move through the area. That's going to bring a pretty decent cool down, not just to us, but the entire United States. Our temperature outlook put out by the Climate Prediction Center, this shows us the general trend, and it's saying we're expected to be cooler than normal as we head into mid-February. Normal high temperature this time of year, that's about 65. So you can expect us to be in the lower 60s and even the 50s. That extended forecast really keeping us Groundhog Day every single day. Upper 60s to start and foggy. Afternoons in the lower 80s. This weekend we'll finally see that change as the cold front pushes through on
here in town, so it's nice, but not so much if you're heading down to the coast today.
No, if you're heading to the coast today, you are being met with some dense sea fog. Elsewhere, it's just warm and humid. So both sides of the spectrum, not the most pleasant day, but could always be worse. Let's get into that. Cumulus clouds, not going to be dealing with any rainfall today. Really, the only moisture is going to be that fog pushing its way onshore. Temperature-wise, currently sitting at 82 degrees. Winds are coming from the south at 8 miles per hour. That's helping increase that Gulf flow. That's going to be what's making us feel a bit more sticky. So temperatures across the board, much cooler on the island, but as Andy was mentioning, hard to enjoy it when we've got that dense sea fog. Further inland, mid 80s, 84 right now in College Station, and dew points making us feel extremely humid. Now, as for the allergy report, we do have good news in terms of tree pollen. The tree pollen yesterday was high. Now that's decreased to moderate. Of course, it's a kind of a give and a take because mold spores, as of today, now showing up in the high range. So if you do suffer from allergies, still take those medications. We are not in the clear. Grilling forecast as we go through the next few hours going to be staying in the lower 80s. And then as we go overnight tonight, struggling to cool down, temperatures only reaching the mid 60s. Foggy conditions. Every single afternoon, it's kind of very similar because temperatures are going to be reaching the lower to mid 80s. You'll notice we are flirting with those record high temperatures every single day within a degree or two. So this is not normal. And unfortunately, it's just what we're going to be seeing every single day. That dense sea fog staying by the coast through the afternoon. Once we get to about 10 o'clock, it'll start pushing its way inland. Widespread, dense, patchy fog through the overnight hours. So certainly that morning commute, plan on a bit of extra time for driving, flip on those low beams. Once the sun comes up, we'll still deal with that fog for about another hour or two, and then it's just going to be limited to the coast. This is what you can expect to see every single day. Coastal sea fog pushing its way inland overnight, staying with us for the morning commute, and then starting to dissipate as we get into the sunny parts of the day. Those temperatures are going to be staying well above normal as we go through Saturday, but starting on Sunday, a cold front sweeps through. This is going to bring with it rain chances, but also much cooler temperatures. Nothing too cool, but we are talking seasonal. You'll notice Sunday, really the transition is a live look in Galveston, and this is how it's looked all day. Typically, we can see a pier from here, Pleasure Pier in the distance. Right now, really just murky. That sea fog starts to roll in this time of year every single year, and this is going to be staying with us through the week. Now, as we go through the evening tonight, you are going to see those foggy conditions push further inland, likely not going to be until closer to 10 p.m. this evening. So if you're out and about right now, we do have some sunshine out there, peaks of blue skies between the cloud cover. Temperature wise, it's toasty. 84 out in Tomball, 82 here in Houston, 75 in Liberty. So a much warmer day than we should be. We should be in the mid 60s. And as we head into this evening, patchy fog is going to become more widespread. Temperature wise, struggling to cool down, lows only in the mid 60s. This is what we can see until our next strong cold front. But Lisa, Andy, more on that extended forecast coming up.
All right, Caroline, we will check forecast.
And I'll tell you what, it is a beautiful afternoon, although it is a bit on the warm side. A live look from the Houston Zoo. You can see we've got the flamingos in the water, and you cannot blame them. It is a warm afternoon. It's warm, it's humid. Temperature-wise, we were able to make it into the lower and mid 80s. This is not normal. In fact, this is record-setting heat for the Houston area. We should be sitting in the mid 60s. So if you're thinking, this seems a bit early, you are absolutely right. Temperatures right now, 84 in Brenham, 82 in Katy, 79 out there in Pearland. As for how it feels, well, it feels pretty sticky outside. Dew points in the mid 60s. That translates to humid conditions, a bit moist, certainly not crisp. And what's not helping is going to be that allergy report. Tree pollen now in the moderate range for cedar and elm. Mold spores as of today, high. So if you suffer from allergies like myself, definitely take those medications. As for the dog walk tonight, you're going to start to see fog increasing mainly after 10 p.m. But for areas south of I-10, that sea fog really going to be thick tonight. That's going to help us stay a bit on the warmer side. Temperatures by 9 o'clock, 74 degrees. Waking up tomorrow morning in the mid 60s, and then every single afternoon, pretty much the same, lower 80s, challenging these record high temperatures, waking up to foggy conditions. So that fog will start to push its way inland by 10 o'clock, becoming more widespread through the overnight hours. This is 7 a.m., so that morning commute will be impacted. Plan on a bit of extra time, flip on those low beams, but once the sunrise comes up, that fog will mix out of here by about 1 to 2 hours. It'll be a similar situation tomorrow with sea fog persisting through the day, pushing inland overnight, impacting that morning commute, and then finally starting to dissipate shortly after sunrise. As for those high temperatures, you're going to notice staying much warmer than we have been. 84 by Saturday, our next cold front. That's going to swing through on Sunday, not bringing us too cold of weather. We're not talking another freeze. Used to the crisp mornings with the sweaters and the cozy and the coffee, but now we're at that point where overnight, do you put on the AC? Do you keep on the heater? We only drop into like the upper 60s. So really that unsure time of the year. A live look in Galveston where the sea fog has certainly rolled in, these cars seemingly appearing out of nowhere. A good reminder that you do need to plan on extra time on the roads. Fog is very dangerous when it comes to driving. Visibility only going to be impacted by the coast, but as we go through the next several hours, that's going to be pushing its way further inland, and that's why you do want to flip on those low beams, plan on a bit of extra time. So a live look outside from our Houston area Chevy dealer's camera showing some sunshine mixed in with some puffy cumulus clouds, but no rain showers today, just that misty fog by the coast. Temperature-wise, sitting in the upper 70s and the lower 80s, 82 here in Houston, 83 out in Brenham, Liberty warming up to 78 degrees. So across the board, well above where we should be. Some places 20 degrees warmer than average. This is record-setting heat. As we go through the overnight hours, temperatures are really going to struggle to cool down. Very similar to what we saw last night is what we're going to see tonight. And quite frankly, that's what we're going to see every single day over the next several days. Foggy conditions for all. Temperatures only cooling into the mid 60s. And then as we go into the day tomorrow, once again, we're going to be warming up right through the 70s. Once that fog mixes out, it's going to go to high heat mode. Temperatures going to be climbing right back into the 80s. But we do have some changes on that extended forecast. Andy, Lisa, I've got more details on a cold front coming up.
All right, let's get on over to meteorologist Caroline Brown talking about this forecast. I know you have the draft. I can see the zoo cam behind you, so I want to get right to it. But how are we starting our weather right now?
I mean, we're starting off warm out there, but we're dry. We're not dealing with any rainfall. The fog is staying by the coast for now. And what I find interesting is down at the zoo, we're actually we were dealing with snowfall. Now we're dealing with t-shirts at the Houston Zoo. Temperature-wise, certainly on the warm side. College Station 84, same with Tomball, 82 out in Fort Bend County. Closer to the coast down in Galveston, they've got temperatures in the 70s. That's because they're dealing with that thick sea fog, and that's likely going to stick around for the next several days. Now, everybody has muggy, humid conditions out there, dew points in the mid 60s. So as we go overnight tonight, no one's going to be calling it crisp. In fact, grilling and chilling. Temperatures only cooling through the 70s by 9 o'clock. That patchy dense fog will become more widespread the later we get into the evening. Now, as for overnight temperatures, we're only expected to drop into the mid 60s, and then into the afternoon, forecast highs making it into the lower 80s. Tomorrow, forecast of 82. The record is from 1957, 83 degrees. Likely going to be coming close to that. Thursday, 82, record 82. This is going to be every day through Saturday. Same with the foggy conditions. You'll see that coastal fog start to push inland about 10 p.m. tonight, widespread through the overnight hours, impacting that morning commute. This is 7 a.m. in the morning. Plan on a bit of extra time. Once that sun comes up, give it about an hour or two, and visibilities should be significantly better. And then as we go into Wednesday, same exact thing. Sea fog through the day by the coast. That'll push inland overnight, and then we'll start to see it dissipate as we go into the afternoon. As for when we'll see changes, well, they are